Hi boys and girls, so this week we've been learning about the type of poem called a Cinquain poem. In this poem, there are 5 lines, and I told you in the video on Monday that sometimes this poem can be written based on syllables, but since we already did a haiku about syllables last week, that this week in our Cinquain poem, our 5 lines would be based on word count. So up here, while I'm doing my example of a Cinquain poem, I have a little chart over here. And in it, I have my 5 lines, just as a reminder to myself and to you watching the video. So let's just review a little quickly about the 5 lines of our Cinquain poem before we start brainstorming and drafting. So remember, the first line is just one word, which is our title of our Cinquain poem. The second line is 2 words, which describes, usually in adjectives or a short phrase, something about our title. The third line is 3 action words. So with some of the examples that we saw in the video on Monday, we noticed that this can be a short phrase or there can be some verbs listed from what the title or the subject is doing, what somebody would be doing with the subject, or other action words that just relate back to the title. Our fourth line is 4 words, which is a phrase or words that would relay to the feeling of the subject. And then our 5th line is again just one word about the title, which could usually be a synonym. So another word that means the same thing as the title, but isn't the exact same word. So when we're thinking of topics for any type of poetry, and especially Cinquain poems, since these are short and we want simple topics, we want to think about things that we like, we dislike, we see in the world around us. So this might be a lot of topics to you. This might just be one thing that comes to mind right away. So one thing that came to mind right away for me is harmony. So our school. Okay, we've been out of it for a few weeks. This is something that right away I knew that I wanted to write about because my readers, you guys, you are familiar with this topic. I know that I can relay a lot of descriptive words about this topic, and I know that I had a lot of ideas about this. So here is my brainstorming sheet about harmony that I'm going to start with. And again, I'm just going to leave this up here as a little reminder to myself. And after I thought of a topic, I'm going to brainstorm, but with my Cinquain poem, I'm really going to brainstorm thinking about feelings, actions, ideas, and examples, since I already know that my 5 lines have to have words about descriptions in them. So right away, the word school comes to mind, because I know that harmony is a school. Learning, teaching, students, play or playground, classrooms. I think about the hawk. I think about the colors blue and white. I think about teachers. And again, I'm just brainstorming with a web. You can brainstorm with a list or just get all of your ideas down on the paper however you want. I'm really just thinking about any word that comes to mind when I'm thinking about harmony. I'm thinking about our rock garden. I'm thinking about fun day. Maybe picture day. All right. So now that I have a bunch of ideas down, I'm going to get started on writing my actual Cinquain poem. Now, I'm constantly going to refer back to my 5 lines. I'm going to list these 5 parts in this assignment today so that when you are writing your own Cinquain poem in your writer's notebook, you can also refer back to these 5 lines. If you notice, I have a bunch of papers laid out for myself. This is also something that might help you as a writer to be laid out on a table or a desk or your work area when you are writing any type of poem. So, first line, super easy, my title. I already chose my topic, which was harmony. This becomes my title and my first line. I now have to think of 2 words that are going to describe harmony. When I think of harmony as a school, I think of the energy that's in the hallways, of all of the students walking through the hallways, excited to get to their class, excited to see their friends. So I'm going to say energetic. I'm going to make it a list since I'm not using a phrase and I'm just using words. I know that when I list, I use a comma in between. When I'm walking down those energetic hallways, I also feel very inviting, accepting. Like everybody wants to be in the building. Everybody is friends with each other. Everybody is there for the same reasons, to learn and to play and to grow together. So I'm also going to use the word accepting to describe how harmony feels. Now that I've gotten my title and my 2 describing words down, I'm going to look at line number 3. Here, I need 3 action words. I'm going to look back and look in my brainstorming list for words that would be a verb or an action. Now remember, in this line, this could be actions that Harmony, the school, could be making. It could be actions that the people inside the building could be making, or it could be a phrase that is something of an action. So I'm thinking that if I added the ing suffix to teach and learn, these would become actions: teaching, learning. So I'm going to start with those. Teaching. And again, I'm going to list, not using a phrase. So I am going to use a comma. Teaching, learning. And I see another one up here, play. So I'm also going to list that as my third. I'm going to reread my poem. Harmony, energetic, accepting, teaching, learning, playing. On my 4th line, I need 4 words that are a phrase or a feeling about harmony. Let me look back. I know I used teach, learn, play. All of these things were kind of the energetic parts and accepting parts. So I'm thinking of the teachers and the students that I want to use in my phrase. So 4 words. Well, teachers and students, they really come together at Harmony. So I'm thinking, and it's okay again to count out your words just like you counted out your syllables. Teachers and students together would be a 4-word phrase that I want to use. Teachers and students together. Now this is my first draft. If I wanted to rewrite this as my final draft, I might want to make sure that my lines are kind of a little more spread out, that my writing is a little more even. Finally, I'm down to my 5th line, which again is just 1 word. So I have to think 1 word about the title, but I cannot use harmony again. So I know that I've used a lot from my brainstorming list. And I'm going to reread my poem to get maybe another idea for my 1 synonym about harmony. Harmony, energetic, accepting, teaching, learning, playing, teachers and students together. I'm going to say school. Now that my poem is complete, let's review what I did. First, I thought of a topic and brainstormed ideas, actions, feelings, and examples about my topic. When I was writing my draft, I continually went back and forth between what I needed in each line, what was in my brainstorming, and was rereading to make sure that all of my ideas matched my subject. Feel free to write more than one poem, to write multiple drafts about the same topic, and to play around with your word count to make sure that it's the best that you can do. You do not need to upload this to Seesaw, but you will be saving this in your writer's notebook to choose which one to upload to Seesaw on Friday and which poem to upload into your final poetry project at the end of the unit. Let us know if you have any questions, and if you ever need to, you can rewatch the video again.